everybody. Welcome to Unmuzzled. I am Sarah, your host. Today, we have two lovely ladies, Kathy and Jessica, here from Rescue Pack, I was going over their stats on their website from 2024, and it's mind-blowing the work they do. I can't wait to get to them. Please hold on, Sponsors Europe. Thank you so much to our presenting sponsors. Yucca Fence is a family-owned, trusted provider of high-quality fencing solutions with over 57 years of experience. They take pride in protecting what you love the most and give back to rescues, shelters, and humane societies through their partnerships. They give you a free, no-obligation estimate and use the highest quality materials. For transparency and peace of mind, visit Yucca Fence for all your fencing needs. Canine Cruise is the place to take your pet. They offer dog and cat boarding, dog daycare, pet retail, and mindful day school. Tons of indoor space with a huge yard. Canine Cruise is your one-stop shop for professional pet care in Chicago. Kiki's Corner Natural Pet Foods in downtown Winfield, just a block south of CDH Hospital and the railroad tracks. Kiki's has all your food and health aid needs for dogs and cats. Kiki's Corner for a healthy, happy pet. Sniffing out a new vet? Bond Vet is a new breed of vet care that offers everything from primary care to walk-in urgent care visits. And right now, they've got a special treat for our listeners. You can use code UNMUZZLED to get $50 off your pet's first visit by booking at bondvet.com. That's code UNMUZZLED at BONDVET.com for $50 off. Thank you, sponsors. I appreciate you so much. Let's get right to it. Hello, Jessica. Hi, Kathy. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, incredible work you're doing. I want to get to the stats eventually, but Kathy, I want to start with you because you started this in 2016, and I love to hear people's stories because, I run a foundation, I run a business, Jessica runs a business, and she's been part of a lot of different charities and organizations too. You always start with it being a passion, and then you realize, oh, shoot, like this is so much more than just like a passion. It is something that could be a viable charity, and you have turned it into an organization, a nonprofit. So tell us how this all got started in 2016.
Well, I actually heard about a similar program that was happening in another state. So I heard about it actually from a different organization. And I used to volunteer at Chicago Animal Care and Control. And then there were other rescues that I would lend my support to, whether I was cleaning cages, cleaning litter boxes, or fostering. And I really thought about it and was like, how can I have a greater impact on more animals than just the animals that are in that rescue? So when I heard about this program, I was like, ding, 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 the light bulb went off. And I'm like, I jumped in with both feet, started up Rescue Pack in 2016. We were aligned with an organization called Greater Good. So initially, the majority of our donations in terms of pet food and supplies were being coordinated by Greater Good. But as the years have gone on, we've been able to expand the program, bring in more donors, and of course, more rescues and shelters found out about us. So back at the beginning, it was literally like one truck coming in. And now for us to do a distribution up to rescues and shelters, we need about 5 to 10. So the program has significantly grown. And as you mentioned, this was an incredible labor of love. I had a full-time job. This was kind of my part-time gig, if you will. But I always knew when I retired, which happened in 2022, that I really wanted to focus on this full time. So it's been fantastic. We've really, with Jessica's help, really been able to expand the program. And we have amazing volunteers that help us as well. So I feel incredibly blessed to be able to do this and to be able to give back to so many animals with what we do.
It really is incredible. So just to go over some of the numbers. So 2024, 125 semi-trucks of supplies and food, 10 million meals. I mean, think about how much 10 million meals. And we should know it's not just for dogs. It's cats. It's everything. And then 4 million pounds of food and supplies, which you would probably call leashes and collars. Do you also do toys too?
We do everything. So no matter what folks send our way, it can be cages, it can be crates, it can be gates, it can be leashes, collars, Kongs, it can be poop bags, you name it. We it funnels through our warehouse at some point in time. So if it's something that either a rescue can use or a shelter or community residents can use. So for example, we had a beautiful donation of bleach, which you wouldn't necessarily think, what are they going to do with that, right? But, shelters need bleach. So to help with cleaning. So we tend to never say no if we think there's a use for it.
Yeah, looking at these photos, you're totally volunteer run, but I know you have also partnered with rescues and communities to do clinics, vaccine clinics, and even be able to supply people in the community with food and leashes and collars like we talked about.
Yeah, I would say that really changed during COVID. We just used to focus on distributions out to rescues and shelters, but then when COVID came, it really became apparent that we needed to help families as well. So that's when we said, all right, we got to go into communities that need our assistance, right? Because our attitude is if we can keep a pet in their home versus being surrendered because they're not able to feed their pet, that's what we wanted to do. But also it was important to keep pets healthy and safe. And when we say healthy, it's the vaccine part of it, and then safe is through microchipping. So if there is a lost dog, we can get that pet reunited with their forever family. So that was the real reason that we started jumping into, these clinics, and also then we would bring food as well. So not only would they get the vaccines and microchips, but also pet food.
Yeah, it says a lot about you and just your team that you grow with what's needed. You see a need, and then you kind of redirect. So Jessica, because I know a lot of people that listen to this then come back with kind of questions, or they're really like interested in how this all works. So if there's a rescue group that's listening, or maybe like somebody in the community that just helps with animals in their community, first of all, where do they have to be based? What are kind of the guidelines? I know there's an application process, but can you tell people how the program works?
I can, but actually that might be better answered by Jessica.
Yes, of course. So to join our program, you have to either be in Illinois, Wisconsin, Southwest Michigan, or Northwest Indiana. You have to be a 501c3 organization registered with the government. You have to, if applicable to your state, you have to be registered with the Department of Agriculture to be licensed to adopt out animals. If you're a pet food pantry, you're welcome to join as well, but you have to have either a brick and mortar location and or on your website, it needs to state exactly when you host your food support program, whether it's once a month or weekly, what have you. But it isn't meant for these like pop-up type pet food pantries, meaning like we'll give food to a rescue to do those. But if you're a pet food pantry applying as a pantry, we check their 9 days to make sure that they're within a financial criteria. If they're over the financial criteria, we might welcome them into what we call our surplus program, which is when we have received a lot of stuff and have a lot of items to give away. So we have a standard list for when we, like Kathy said, we try to do about 10 trucks for a standard distribution. If we have more supplies, we welcome more. But we check social media to make sure that everything's up to snuff. What else do? We have a check on the board members to make sure that everybody is okay and there's no issue with anyone that runs on their board. We call the veterinarian to make sure that everybody does their due diligence and either spays and neuters or does a contract for younger animals to get spayed or neutered when they're of age. The rabies vaccination. We want to make sure that everyone's doing right morally by the animals because we don't really want to align with organizations that aren't doing good. So there is the application process. They would complete all that information, tell us how many animals they have in their organization or how many animals they support via their pet food pantry. And then, we do this, it's sort of a lengthy review on things. It takes me about a week if I can really get through it. And if the veterinarians call me back. But we try to welcome everyone that we can, so long as the pertinent criteria, which is rather dictated to us by Greater Good Charities, make sure that they're all good, and then they can join our program.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's remarkable what's been built. I mean, when you see and so Kathy, where are you storing all of this stuff?
Well, You can actually see that's actually a picture of our warehouse. We operate out of Goggin Warehousing. They're in West Chicago. So we're blessed because sometimes we get a tremendous amount of donations and they'll let us kind of flex with the space just in terms of, being able to grow. So we traditionally have 2,500 square feet on the floor, but we quite easily go over that every single month, and we might need like 5,000 square feet. It just really depends on whether or not the pallets are stackable. But we're in West Chicago, but we take donations actually from all over the country. But I would say the majority of our donations come out of the Midwest. So that makes it wonderful because trucking isn't that terrible. When you're trucking product from California, it's a whole different ballgame than when you're trucking product out of Milwaukee, for example, which is where one of our big donors is.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. How do you kind of get connected? Because I know we had to there was just a delay in communication because you had a huge delivery of Stella and Chewy come in. That's no joke. That's good food. And for you to be able to supply that to people, either in low income communities or with rescue dogs that really could use good, solid food, that's awesome.
Yeah. In fact, Jessica and I worked on a distribution in June that was all frozen food. So if you can imagine, out from Stella and Chewy's, and every pallet had a $10,000 retail value. So if you went to the store to go buy it, you were essentially spending $10,000 on it. And I tell you, for those, it was dog food that had specific nutritional needs, needed that fresh food, needed that additional boost. It was perfect for them, right? So, so Stella and Chewy's is wonderful because they're actually in our backyard, right here right in Milwaukee, actually.
How do you connect with the companies? I don't know if you want to give away all your secrets, by the way. But, it's funny. I feel like when you get something kind of good, sometimes you want to gatekeep it. A lot of people that I work with and work around don't gatekeep, which is kind of nice, but I totally understand. But I assume there's.
Oh no, I'm happy to answer that one. I mean, that's absolutely fine. So we have mentioned Greater Good Charities, and actually they work with some of the bigger manufacturers. So maybe it's Purina, for example. So the majority of our donations from Purina are coordinated through Greater Good, but we also have these direct relationships with which we build. And to answer your question about how did that happen, sometimes it's just knocking on doors. So it's cold calling, it's making phone calls, it's sending emails. But really, when Jessica was talking about the program and how we review every application that comes in, it gives donors a confidence level that their food is being put to good use, right? So, the donors, when you think about it, what used to happen is if food was short to expire, it was overstock, let's say it was mislabeled, or perhaps there was an ingredient in there that didn't impact the nutritional quality, but was unsellable, they would throw it out. And we're like, oh my gosh, here's this unbelievable resource. So we always say we're turning, that could have filled a landfill, but instead we're turning it into usable goods that people or shelters actually need. So it really does solve a problem. We recently changed our logo color to green because we were thinking about it in terms of, it's almost, it's not that we're recycling food per se, but we are rescuing food from ending up in a landfill. So to me, that's a win-win all the way around. But really the way that we've attracted donors is sometimes just word of mouth, but also a lot of the rescues and shelters that participate with us, they also give us contacts. So they might say, hey, somebody contacted me. It's too large of a donation for us to take. Can you take it? And we're like, send it in, or we'll go get it. We never, like I said, we never turn anything down because there's always a home for everything. So that's the way we look at it.
And so for Jessica, for you, I assume you have to be number one, really organized because you probably have a lot of but helping people, especially now in this climate that we're in, where a lot of people need resources to be able to keep their pet, or rescues who are just, have vet bills piled up, all the cages are full, all their fosters are full. For you, like being organized, but also being able to help right now in this time, it has to feel so great.
I left animal welfare in 2023 in terms of working directly into it. And it's been wonderful to work with Rescue Pack because I feel rescue adjacent. I'm still helping. But yeah, I am a little crazy organized. Kathy, I think, appreciates it. No, I have to be because I run the applications. I also, after our distributions, I follow up with everybody to if we've got 80, 95-ish organizations coming to distribution, I'll reach out to 8 to 10, depending on the situation. Now, one like Kathy was talking about with that frozen goods one, we reached out to everybody. It was a much smaller distribution, and we try to get as much content back to them as possible for their social media. So I have to run all of that. I help with the distribution stuff itself. So there's components of the before distribution work that I do with Kathy. So lots of color coding, lots of folders. Google is my friend because it allows me to, not that I'm plugging that, but it really does allow me to keep track of things. I have a psychotically color coded calendar. So
I love it. So Kathy, take us into kind of a distribution day. I mean, we see these pictures, but this is like times, 80, 90 sometimes. I mean, this is just incredible. And I can't imagine how thankful these people are to be getting this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, actually. And so the process starts well before distribution day, where all the rescues and shelters that want to participate, we literally, Jessica and I, compile a laundry list of here's everything that we have available. They kind of pick and choose. Now, it can work out where there's way more requests than we actually have that particular product available. So we go through what we call an allocation process, and we try to make sure everybody gets something that they want. Or if there's an appropriate substitute where we can kind of give them like for like, we'll do that as well. And then we send out confirmation so everybody knows exactly what they're getting on distribution day because they need to show up in the right vehicle. So what we don't want to do is, let's say they're getting 3 pallets and they show up in a Mini Cooper, right? That's just not going to work. In something bigger that we can, because we load with forklifts on site. So Jessica and I and other volunteers day before, we're actually labeling pallets. Like we're putting on the organization's name and number. So on distribution day, when an organization shows up, we know exactly what they're supposed to get. Are they supposed to get 1? Are they supposed to get 3, 10, whatever the number is? That's all sorted in advance. So literally on distribution day, we are just focused on loading efficiently. So, depending on how it goes, we may have a little bit of a line that folks just need to be patient, but we run it from 9 to 11, and generally by 11 o'clock, we have rocked through every organization and gotten them loaded and out of there. So it has improved, I will say, year on year, just in terms of we learn new things, we get better, we're more efficient. Jessica has helped tremendously with that in terms of she embraces a lot of tools that perhaps I don't even know about that just makes us better. So we are always looking for ways to improve, and we're always asking our groups, what can we do better? What do you need more of? How can we help you be successful? Because at the end of the day, all we really want to do is either keep pets in homes or get animals adopted and out of the system, if you will.
Yeah, I will say, like, your social media is amazing because you're like, okay, we got this truck. Everybody comes. It's just everybody's like so excited. All of like my rescue friends, they're like so excited about it. So it creates a buzz. And then when you see these photos of these animals with the goods, I mean, it's amazing. Is there kind of, Kathy, like something that you're looking forward to, like a next step that you want to advance it any further, or is you feel like you're good now doing all of this?
I don't know, Jess. Should we kind of talk a little bit? Jessica's working on something that we have yet to unveil, and unfortunately, I think I am the bottleneck. But maybe, Jess, like tee it up a little bit because I'm really super excited about what we're about to do with the grant program.
Well, I don't know if I can tee it up a little bit because it's either info or not. We're working on a medical grant program. So One of the parts of our process is that these items aren't free. We're required to charge at least 15 cents a pound per item. So if you, one of the things I love telling people when I'm doing the onboarding process is when I used to work at the shelter I was at, I was a member of the program, and one of the pallets of food we received was a full pallet, so approximately 2,000 pounds of Friskies cat food. Retail value should have been about $5,000, and I think we paid like $225 for it, the whole pallet. So it is the most immense cost saving for rescues and shelters and pet food pantries, what have you. But point being is that we charge, right? So we have rent, we pay shipping and handling on the trucks ourselves, but what we have left over, we're hoping to turn into this medical grant program. So organizations that are participants in our program can reach out to us via the application, tell us what's going on, and if we have the funds available, we'll try to help pay for their medical bill. Point is we receive the EOB, if that's the right term for veterinarians. I'm not really sure. But if we get the bill from them, then we go directly to the veterinarian clinic and pay the bill for them, so they don't even have to sweat about it.
I love that. Obviously, that's close to my heart.
I know. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's amazing. We just broke news on the podcast. Yes.
There needs to be like confetti coming down.
Like an alert. Here it comes. So this is their website, everybody. And I assume too, you take donations, just monetary donations to help with your rent, with the shipping, all of that. And now if you have the medical grant system, then people can donate towards that. I also saw that you always need volunteers to help with the unpacking and distribution and all of that. So please check out their website. Anything else, Kathy, that you want everybody to know?
No, I mean, like I said, I just feel so blessed to be able to be part of this program. You know, it's been an amazing community. And if we can really just help and impact the homeless pet population, I'll feel like we've done our job. It sometimes seems a little bit overwhelming, but we are trying to make a dent in it in any way possible. But I do hope if rescues and shelters and 501s are listening, you know, please apply. You know, we want to support you. We want to support as many qualified organizations as we can. So if we can just make the load a little bit lighter for them by offering pet food and supplies that they can put more into adoptions or medical care or whatever it is, that's really our main thrust. So yeah, we're here to help. I always tell organizations, we are here to help you. That's what our role is.
I love it. And this year you will aim for 250 semi trucks, right? Instead of one.
Last year was $18 million retail value in what came out of our program. Yeah. So yes. That's kind of an intense amount of money to double, if you will.
I mean, how proud too, even the people that give you things, like when you can come back with those numbers and say, this is how many, like it just kind of like makes them so proud too, where it pays it forward. They're proud to donate all of these things to you, which is so cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And Jessica, I know you're a big fan of this podcast. I know you listened to the first episode when I relaunched and we talked about the squirrel guy. So thank you for being a loyal listener.
Peanut. All right,
listener, viewer, you won't go down the rabbit hole of that guy. Thank you, Kathy, for your time.
Awesome.
For all you do. What you do is absolutely incredible. I'm floored by just the amount of things moving and organizing, those pickups. I mean, honestly, should be so proud. So thank you both so much.
Thank you
for having us.
Everybody go check them out. I mean, amazing work they do. Again, here's their website. You can become a monthly donor. You can donate supplies. You can volunteer. A local group doing a lot of good right here in Chicagoland and Wisconsin. Supporting sponsors, you're up. Thank you to our supporting sponsors. On the corner of Montrose and Troy in Chicago's Irving Park neighborhood, you'll find a hidden gem known as Templestowe Pub. They have a great selection of local draft beers, and the Malort is always flowing. Oh, no. Join us for a charity bingo event or a tap takeover with a local brewery. Don't want to leave your dog at home? All good. Bring them along. Whether you're throwing darts or playing a banger on the jukebox, you're guaranteed to have an awesome time. So head on over to 3135 West Montrose and look for the old style sign. The Canine PT is Chicago's highest rated dog physical therapy clinic, and they're dedicated to enhancing the lives of your four-legged companions as they age or when recovering from an injury. Give the gift of pain relief to your furry friends. They also offer a discount for rescue dogs. For more information, visit thecaninept.com. Intuitive animal behavior dog training, positive reinforcement, force-free, and fear-free training solutions for every dog. Jenna offers individualized training, behavioral boarding, shelter support, and positive reinforcement board and train services. Creating an environment that is happy and healthy for your pets is so important. For more information, go to intuitiveanimalbehavior.com. Thank you, Kathy and Jessica. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.